page HITC Sport. Alright, what's this? Premier League match week 11? Alright then, the predictions king is back. And by king, I mean that I have the ball knowledge of King Kong, apparently. You know, that giant ape who probably drinks his own nipple milk? But go on then, let's see how many predictions I get right or wrong this time. I've got a good feeling about this week. Then again, I said that every week Lost was on TV, and yet every single episode just left me with a migraine in my head. Right, let's go. Southampton versus Aston Villa. I'm sorry, is Danny Ings' body made of wet Toblerone? How can one man have so many crippling injuries and yet not be in a wheelchair? This guy, you'd swear he's blessed with the same genes as Daniel Sturridge. You know, having limbs clearly not tailored to sport. Honestly, this man is a brilliant footballer with razor-sharp finishing instincts, but he's also got the muscles of a pensioner who still poops into a plastic doggy bag. Again, a hamstring injury means he can't play against his former club, so I guess he's gonna spend this Friday night, what, playing Candy Crush on his phone? Listen, Aston Villa have lost 4 games in a row. I think it might be time to sack Dean Smith. I mean, what other man is allowed to spend £90 million in one summer and still come up with these chicken nugget results? Let's be honest, it's only really clicked for you in one game this season, that 3-0 win over Everton. Since your smash and grab win at Old Trafford, you've conceded 12 goals in 4 games. I might understand, but you're supposed to have one of the best goalies in the world. You officially have the 3rd worst defense in the league so far this season. So I'm guessing John Terry was the only one at the club who knew how to drill a back 4. I mean, once he goes, oh, you suddenly all stumble about as if you're now being coached by Louis Walsh. Can you imagine the pressure Dean Smith is under right now when he gets on that bus to Southampton? He's probably going to spend a 3-hour coach ride hyperventilating into a McDonald's Happy Meal. Honestly, right now, his jumper's probably coated with tears and ketchup. Sorry lads, this is going to be another clean sheet for Southampton, and I'm pretty comfy 2-0 home win before Smith gets dumped for Palafonseca. Man United versus Man City. Yeah. Remember when David Moyes watched his Man United team lose 3-0 to Liverpool in 2014? Well, his next home match was also against Man City, and he got played off the park in that game too, and was gone within a month. For Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is an almost identical run of form. Now listen, some reactionary hamburgers out there are saying,
oh, if Liverpool scored 5 at Old Trafford, that means City are now going to score 10.
Oh, okay, please go and watch a different sport. Christ, what history on it. This isn't made in Chelsea, relax. I remember a similar thing 2 years ago when Southampton lost 9-0 to Leicester, and then the next 2 games were both against Man City. They didn't lose 15-0 like everyone said. Listen, you might say that someone with the tactics of a snow globe like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be terrified by the prospect of going head-to-head with Pep Guardiola, but no, he's already beaten them 4 times. Pep Guardiola hasn't beaten Ole in a Premier League match in 2.5 years. How is that physically possible? This is like a hardened world-class boxer continuing to stub his toe on the corner of the couch. Yeah, Ollie is that corner of the couch. He's his bogey coach. I mean, if trick-or-treaters had turned up to Pep's house wearing a Michael Myers mask, he probably would have laughed. Turn up wearing the mask of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and they'll probably shoot you in the face. But you don't want to play a wounded Man City immediately after losing to Crystal Palace. This will be a focused, switched on City coming up against a Rafael Varane-less Manchester United defence, who will probably look about as comfortable as Danny DeVito wearing skinny jeans. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Man City win in a game where they'll dominate about 65% possession of the ball. I mean, this isn't a prediction. It's a fact. The last time Man United edged the possession stats against City at Old Trafford was October 2015, when Wilfred Boney was stuffed up front. That's over 6 years ago. If Man City record possession stats of less than 60%, then I will eat a slice of toast out of my sweaty shoe. I mean, look at the midfield. Poor old McFred. You might as well replace them with a McFlurry and maybe a box of chicken nuggets. Just litter them in the centre of the park, because honestly, they're not going to touch the ball. Honestly, Fred and Scott, just sneak a couple of iPods into your shorts and spend the first half listening to Girls Aloud and Joe McElderry, because you're gonna have no part to play in this match. This will be a 1-0 thumping. Cristiano Ronaldo will touch the ball about 4 times in the box. There'll be about 11 shots on target to 1. Phil Foden will squeeze in the winner, but players like Jack Grealish and Bernardo Silva will hit the post, and Cole Palmer will smack the crossbar from 30 yards. Trust me, write this down. This will be a 1-0 battering. Brentford versus Norwich. It's official. I am a Brentford curse. I've tipped you to win your last 3 matches, and you've lost every single one. For a while, everybody was saying how brilliant Brentford have been, that they're going to stay up with ease. Oh yeah, well, here's a stat for you. They haven't won a home game since the first Friday night of the season. Lads, that's nearly 3 months ago. That's a quarter of the calendar year. I think now now it might be time to panic. You're just 2 points above 17th in the league. Thomas Frank, it might be time to try something new because he thumped 3-1 at Burnley. He probably watched that horror show from the sidelines as if he was watching his own sister make love to a horse. You wouldn't think Norwich finished 10 points above Brentford as just 6 months ago, largely because Norwich City in the Premier League are an embarrassing collection of incompetent misfits. The fact Daniel Farke has banished Todd Cantwell to the reserves. Why? Because he doesn't like his haircut, or the fact that he lives on Instagram? Yes, Joey Mourinho could get away with that with banishing Delegate at Spurs, just about, but you can't afford to do that at Norwich. Is it any surprise your midfield is about as creative as Swiss cheese? Especially when you just sold Emi Buendia. You're already relegated, sure, but your motivation now should be claw those 10 points more to just stop yourself the embarrassment of setting a record low points total in the Premier League. You're the underdogs in this match, but no, you haven't lost at this Brentford ground since your League One days in 2009. One defeat away at Brentford in the last 20 years. So you know what? Fine. Let's go for a 0-0 draw. With both Ivan Toney and Teemu Pukki, two strikers who scored a combined 59 goals last season. Well, on Saturday afternoon, they're going to look like a couple of frustrated penguins. Chelsea versus Burnley. So Burnley have finally won a game of football. Big sigh of relief that was dragging on. But now, traveling to Stamford Bridge to play a team who regularly snap them around like a piñata. This is only Sean Dyche's second time coming up against Thomas Tuchel, and it's going to be an afternoon about as much fun as braiding Piers Morgan's chest hair. Chelsea are a monstrosity this season, as I knew they would be. Sure, there's no Romelu Lukaku, but it doesn't matter. It's nearly 2 months since he was on the score sheet anyway. The last 2 games Chelsea have played at Stamford Bridge, they've scored a combined 11 goals. So Nick Pope should rightly feel like defecating on the couch. The guy's being dumped out of the England squad and is now being outshined by Aaron Ramsdale, who everyone seemed to accept last season was just a walking cheeseburger. He didn't look like an England threat. So Christ above, look at Nick. I haven't seen Pope this scared since the Catholic Church went to court. Honestly, he looks like Damien Duff being unveiled as Shelburne boss this week. Hansi lads, I'm not joking. Look up this video. I love Damien Duff, but his voice is shaking so much. You'd swear he had a lawnmower in his throat. It looks like he's been called into the principal's office at school. Anyway, where was I? Chelsea Burnley. Another easy 3-0 home win with Reece James. Yes, the homegrown right back, moving up to 4th in the Golden Boot race. Crystal Palace versus Wolves. Okay, I am guilty of this one too. People are sleeping on Bruno Lage. They're ignoring him. The guy's won 4 of his last 5 games as Wolves boss and doesn't even get mentioned for manager of the month. Why? What's the issue here? Is it because he's got the charisma of an omelette? Is it because he looks like he hasn't eaten a good breakfast in the last 7 years? Is it because he shares the same name as the movie character which scarred you in the cinema? I suppose you know where Patrick Vieira. It's easier to give him credit because the man's already a legendary figure in football. But Lage, he's another breed of Portuguese coach without a playing career. It's a C-League consisting of coaching the under-19s at Shabab Al Ahly and serving as an assistant at Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. I mean, invite him to prestigious London cocktail parties in the Shard, and snooty people will look at his CV as if he'd spend his 20s emptying bins at 6 AM. But no, give him the credit he deserves, as well as Vieira, who is doing an outstanding job at Palace too. So you know what? This one is going to be the game of the round. 2 confident attacking teams. I'll go for a 3-3 draw with Wilfried Zaha, fresh from chucking his Ivory Coast career into the same bin as his England one. He's going to put on a dribbling masterclass. Wang Hee-chan is going to score another couple of goals. So yeah, 3-3. As a result, these 2 clubs have never played out ever. So that's a good prediction. Brighton versus Newcastle.
Oh, Graham Potter is a genius. Look at the job he's doing at Brighton. Doesn't he have the cutest dimples in the world? Everyone is in love with Graham Potter. I hate when people talk about false positions in the league. It makes him sound like a potato-brained gremlin who won't accept reality. But no, Brighton are 8th and that looks amazing, yes. But they haven't won any of the last 5 games. Yes, they've played some big hitters in there, but they've also travelled to Norwich and couldn't score a goal. Yes, I know they were outstanding in the second half at Anfield last week. But 4 points in 5 games is relegation form. I'm sorry, but it is. As for Newcastle, it doesn't really matter if Eddie Howe's in the dugout. If he is, it's essentially just a comfy pitch-side seat because he won't have taken a single training session. He'll have barely said hello. He's a forward, progressive thinking, attack-minded coach. Something Newcastle haven't had since Alan Pardew? Can you call him one? I mean, if not, then
Kevin Keegan, I guess. Yes, it's a nice reunion with Callum Wilson. But Matt Ritchie deserted him in Bournemouth to go back to the Championship, while Ryan Fraser, he sat out Bournemouth's relegation battle so he wouldn't get injured and scupper himself a move. That's like Michael Owen behaviour on steroids. I mean, that relegation largely chewed Howe's reputation into wet butter. And that's all thanks to Fraser. Fraser and Eddie are going to have such a frothy relationship, you'd swear this was the script of that Cheers spin-off. That's a pretty clever joke. It's probably a bit dated though, right? Listen, Potter versus Howe will be a fascinating tactical duel in March, but for now, I'm guessing when Eddie Howe is shouting about passing patterns and attacking triangles from the sidelines, his players are going to look at him as if he's talking pig Latin through his nose. I'll go for Brighton 2, Newcastle 0. Arsenal versus Watford. One of the iconic matches in football history was new money Chelsea snatching a historic late Champions League win at Highbury during the Invincible season. If you told me back then in April 2004 that Claudio Ranieri, who already looked like an old man back then, would still be trying to win at Arsenal 17 years later, I think you were mad. Listen, Arsenal have picked up in form, and by the end of the weekend they'll be on the verge of the top 4. Again, Emile Smith-Rowe is going to take his England snub on the chin to once again pull strings in midfield. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to fire in another couple of goals, and Bill Foster is probably going to cry into the GoPro. This will be a pretty comfy 3-0 Arsenal win. Everton versus Tottenham. Again, Antonio Conte needs time to work his magic on clubs. Although, to be fair, he did win 12 of his first 14 games into Milan boss. But do you remember when he first turned up at Chelsea? Within 2 months he was rumoured for the sack for losing to both Liverpool and Arsenal. So it's going to be a bumpy journey at Spurs. I'm pretty sure by Christmas he's going to have lost patience, and in a fit of rage will probably use the scissors to cut off one of Matt Doherty's thumbs. But there will be goals in this game. The last 5 times Tottenham have travelled to Goodison Park, there have been a combined 26 goals. That is ridiculous. This is Rafa Benitez versus Antonio Conte, 2 of the greatest managers on the planet, and it's nothing more than a mid-table clash. And Christmas, whereas before the relegation battle would have consisted of Mick McCarthy and Paul Jewell, now it's Marcelo Bielsa and Claudio Ranieri. I think this proves this is the Super League. But yeah, I'll go for a pretty chaotic 2-2 draw. Leeds versus Leicester. Leeds versus Leicester. 2 clubs who've experienced League One pain. So you know what? These fans should respect each other. Last season was weird. Leicester won 4-1 at Ellen Road and then lost 3-1 at home to Leeds. Neither of these sides are in good form, so I think it'll be a pretty edgy, scrappy game. A 1-0 late win for Leicester, with Jamie Vardy scoring a late goal to force angry Leeds fans to chuck tubes of Pringles at his head. West Ham versus Liverpool. Okay, I know nobody wants to play West Ham right now, but Liverpool haven't lost this club in nearly 6 years. There was even a time when Liverpool stuck 4 goals past West Ham 4 times in a row. It's mental to think that both David Moyes and Jurgen Klopp are once both shortlisted for the same job. But anyway, it's official. Moyes is a top coach, but he just can't get the edge over Klopp. Not even last January when they had a defence made of Mosley. Sorry lads, West Ham will try and attack. They'll try and take the game to Liverpool like Brentford did 2 months ago, but they're just going to get picked off. Sadio Mane and Mo Salah will get on the score sheet. 3-1 Liverpool win. Simple as that. Anyway, that's it, fellas. Let me know in the comments what do you think, alright? Let me know your predictions in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.